99X, it's Barnes and Leslie, the Morning X. Ticket window's on the way. We'll get you into Bare Naked Ladies this summer. Those tickets about 20 minutes from right now.
Hey, the Steve Show today and all week. Of course, you know he has the famous House of Retro Pleasure. That's at noon. And then Steve's College of Musical Knowledge every weekday, 1:45 p.m. And this week, tickets to see the Lumineers, October 4th at State Farm Arena. All of that and more on The Steve Show, 10 to 3 today on 99X.
If you don't know, and some people may not, Matthew Sweet, one of our favorite artists and such a huge part of 99X from the beginning, had a stroke late last year. Awful. So sad.
It was awful. Yeah, debilitating stroke while on tour in Toronto.
They say it was a Pons stroke in the back of the brain that completely impacted the left side.
Man, we have so many stroke connections to this place.
I know.
Jimmy disturbingly texted me the other day and said, do you realize that every one of Leslie's co-hosts has had a stroke?
Well, keep Matt Pinfield in your prayers.
Right. Sean Demery, who died of a stroke, and Jimmy Barron, who texted that to me.
Yes.
Also with a stroke. Crash.
It's awful.
I had an ocular stroke. I'm not kidding you.
You did?
What?
I did. I had an ocular stroke in my left eye about 2 years ago, and I still have like a little cloud in my left eye because of this.
Wow.
Crash, I had no idea.
Yikes.
Well, there has been a GoFundMe for Matthew Sweet that you can actually help.
Where is that number now on the GoFundMe?
Oh, I think it's way over $500,000.
Yeah, that was the goal. Early the goal was like $50,000, then they raised it and everybody was giving. So I have wonderful news to share. And
Please.
From Matthew's mouth, which I was so shocked to see this, he's at this Lady Madonna Rehabilitation Center up where he lives. And I think was it Iowa? I think it's Iowa or Nebraska or something.
It's in Omaha.
Omaha in Nebraska. So I have a couple of clips for you. First of all, and you can tell his speech is different. And this is him talking just briefly about what happened.
We hadn't even checked into the hotel. Our road manager was checking in. And I just said, call an ambulance. I started feeling really cold. I was in a cold sweat. Then started hearing really loud white noise in my ears. And then it was like my eyes were scrambling and I knew I needed to go to a hospital.
But his speech, that's unbelievable in this short amount of time.
I'm shocked. Seriously, this is amazing.
People thought that he wasn't going to even be able to speak. It's a long way back, and there's a couple of other pieces that'll fill you in on where he sits right now, but the whole thing affected his left side. And he plays the guitar. Of course, his left hand is on the fretboard, which is, for him and for us as fans, awful. But he got into a little bit about that.
The stroke significantly impacted Matthew's left side, causing difficulty walking, finding his balance, or holding an instrument.
It's a hard thing to realize what the stroke means, in your life. You really lose a lot of abilities, or I did, from walking with my left leg to drawing to playing a guitar.
Now, this was produced by the hospital. They put this together to show.
It's a very long statement if you want to read the whole thing, but it's amazing that he's communicating.
Yeah, a few more things. So when you have a stroke, apparently, because I've not had one, you have to learn to walk
Speak again, everything.
So they present this dude with a walker. And can you imagine being, you're looking at this thing going, I'm not going to use that. Because you're fighting it. You're fighting what you used to be versus what you are now.
It's such a daunting thing to think your arm will work again or your leg will work again. The first time I stood in a walker, it was just terrifying. It was like, there's no way I will ever do this. And it was kind of that way with everything.
He's so upbeat.
Well, he was saying that this rehabilitation center, I don't know if you saw this, is where my mother spent the last years of her life. So I knew it somewhat. So this is the same place that's helping him.
Well, the big question is whether or not he will be able to play guitar again. And that's not selfishly for fans. That's for him.
We would make him do a mobility task like walking or standing, and then simultaneously we would make him sing or do other sort of breath work that kind of simulates what he does as an artist.
The first time I tried was really hard, and I thought, I just will never play guitar again. Now I think, well, maybe I'll play guitar again. And I really owe it to Madonna for my rehab and for keeping me going and steady in that.
He doesn't owe it to Madonna. It's Lady Madonna of the hospital. 'Cause, yeah, out of context, that would be weird. But imagine you're sitting there. That was his whole career.
And he's saying he has to rehabilitate and kind of reinvent himself, but he's seeing some hope, which is amazing.
His speech, it seems to have come so far. So at worst, if he has to not play guitar and can still sing and make a living
And create somehow.
would be unbelievable. And I'll end it with a little message that he had to fans.
Physically, Matthew went from not even being able to sit up on his own to walking 400 to 500 feet with an assisted device, which is pretty phenomenal. But what I really saw rewarding was the progress that he made emotionally and mentally as well. He stayed resilient and kind of pushed through the emotions that come with such a life-altering event like this and just gave 100% of what he had each day for us.
I couldn't have done it without Madonna, without all the fans who supported me, and we're going to do, the best we can, which is what you do in life.
Without the fans, he was screwed.
And I will say this because I'm looking at the GoFundMe. The goal now is $750,000, and they're way over $500,000. So check out the GoFundMe. I mean, there's some fans just even giving $20, which is amazing.
He will be the first to say, without the fans, he is in bad trouble.
Absolutely.
He's a musician, doesn't have that great insurance, and surprised with a stroke. So that's just I did not expect such an uplifting, positive report so soon.
This is really encouraging.
But a lot of times you hear people who've been maybe because they caught it so early.
It could be. I mean, he's the one that said, take me to the hospital right now, but this is so encouraging, and
Yep.
You're in our prayers, Matthew.
A great update on Matthew Sweet.
Wealth building expert Candy Valentino paves the path to success.
I'm sorry, you're a human with a heart and lungs. There's no price tag that you can put on a service that you offer. And everyone that I know, every entrepreneur, they all have one common goal. You want to strive to be like the Ritz-Carlton of your industry. Do the work, take the time to really understand and master these things. It's really essential to your path for success.
The Candy Valentino Show. Time to invest in your future. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.